Back in the late 1990s, early 2000, there was a real popular TV show called West Wing that was airing. And I don't remember even catching one episode when it aired originally, but since then I've seen it quite a bit, maybe every single episode. But there was one episode in season 3 that really has always stood out to me since the first time I saw it. President Bartlett, who is played by Martin Sheen, is telling a story about music and the power of music. And he uses this line. He says, words, when spoken out loud for the sake of performance, are music. And they have rhythm and pitch and timbre and volume. These are the properties of music. And music has the ability to find us and move us and lift us up in ways that literal meaning can't. Maybe you've experienced that, a favorite song that reminds you of that first date, or that first kiss, or that first dance. Maybe the first time you drove a car all by yourself, you remember the song that was on the radio. Maybe it was a special occasion, or maybe it was a sorrowful occasion. We always remember, oh, that was sung at my grandpa's funeral. Oh, I remember How Great Thou Art and Amazing Grace. And those songs are always going to take us back to a reminder of a different time, a different place. As a United States Marine, serving our country was one of my greatest joys. And there's another song, though, that as a serviceman always humbles me and always kind of makes me pause and think about the meaning of the song, why it's being played. And it was back in, it was the 1-year anniversary of 9/11. And Mayor Murphy from my hometown had called, and he knew that I was a Marine and I'd been out for a while, but he said, Lee, can you get in your uniform? And 2, can you get to the plaza for the celebration of the 9/11? And I thought to myself, I think I can get in. That was a long time ago, but I did. I exercised real hard for about 3 weeks. I got trimmed down just enough that I could get those pants buckled and I could get into that uniform. And I got down there, and there was so many people, and the flags were everywhere. People dressed up, and they had flags draped around them. And there was a spirit of patriotism that was so powerful. And as I stood there and I watched all the events, we had the guest speakers. We had times of prayer and reading from the Bible. And then the flags came forward, and a lone bugler played taps. And I stood there at attention, saluting. But even while I was there, I could feel something that was coming close to me. There was a 4-year-old little boy that was right there at my feet. And I could, you feel that when someone's looking at you, and he was staring at me intently, but I wasn't going to break my military bearing. I stood there at attention, and I was locked and cocked like a good Marine. And the song finished, and there was tears just streaming down my face. And the power of the emotion of the day had just overwhelmed me. And I looked down, and I saw this young man, and his eyes were about this big. And I remember seeing heroes in uniform when I was 4, 5, and 6 years old. So I guess I could understand what he was sitting there thinking, but But he looked up and he was looking at my hat. In the Marine Corps, we call it a cover. And he looks up at me and he says, "Can I wear your hat?" And I thought of all the things for him to say right now. And so I kind of squatted down. I got on one knee and I got real close to him and I asked him his name and we talked for a little bit. And I was still noticeably weeping and I was struggling trying to catch my breath. And in the course of our dialogue, this young man, 4 years old, with wisdom in store, he looks at me and he says, "My daddy says that big boys don't cry." Oh, yeah, my daddy said that too. And I said, "Well, your daddy's right. Big boys have to be strong and big boys have to stand up and do the right thing. But you know that song that they just played on the bugle?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "That's a special song. You know, that is a special song that is announcing to a good God in heaven that one of his special battle warriors is coming home." And that is the song that is played every time we lose one of our fellow soldiers or airmen or sailors or Marines. My brothers, my sisters, when they die and we go to their funeral, we play this song to say goodbye. And so it's kind of like every time I hear this song, I'm saying goodbye to a sister, or I'm saying goodbye to a brother. And you know, I hadn't realized it, but there was a couple that had walked up and was standing right behind the young man. And I could see just out of the corner of my eye the devil dog, Semper Fi, U.S. Marine Corps, on this red shirt with the yellow bulldog. And I looked up just a little bit further, and as if on cue, this Marine had streaks down his face just like I did. And I looked down at the young man and I said, "You know, I've got brothers and sisters all over the world that we share the love of this song, and we're going to cry when this song comes up. And there's one of my brothers right there." And he turned around and it was his dad. And his eyes got even bigger because now his dad, the big boy, was crying. And so I was down on one knee and I kind of lifted him up and I put him on my other knee and I says, "When you grow up and you get to be a big boy, you're going to get to wear a hat like this if you want to, but it's going to take a lot of work. Can you do it?" And he looked at me and you could tell he was thinking. You get that look on your face. And he said, "Okay. So can I wear your hat now?" Out of the mouths of babes. I'll never forget that little boy. I'll never forget his mom and dad. Don't forget the songs. Remember TAPS. Thank you.